Max and Lucy were the best of friends. They did everything together, from playing at the park to going on adventures in the forest. Max was a big, lovable golden retriever, and Lucy was a spunky little girl with a wild imagination. One day, Max and Lucy decided to go on a camping trip in the forest. They packed their bags with tents, sleeping bags, and all the food they could carry. Max carried the heavy bags in his mouth, while Lucy skipped happily alongside him. As they walked through the forest, they saw all kinds of animals. They saw squirrels playing in the trees, birds flying overhead, and even a deer drinking from a stream. Max was curious about all the new smells, and Lucy was fascinated by the beauty of nature. When they arrived at their campsite, Max and Lucy set up their tent and built a fire. They roasted marshmallows and told stories by the campfire until they were tired. Then they crawled into their sleeping bags and fell asleep under the stars. In the middle of the night, Max heard a strange noise. He woke up and sniffed the air, trying to figure out what it was. Lucy woke up too, and together they listened carefully. They heard the noise again, and this time they knew what it was a wolf. Max barked loudly, trying to scare the wolf away. Lucy was scared too, but she knew that Max would protect her. She hugged him tightly, and together they waited for the wolf to go away. The wolf circled their campsite, growling and snarling. Max barked and growled back, showing the wolf that he was not afraid. The wolf finally gave up and slunk away into the forest. Max and Lucy breathed a sigh of relief. They hugged each other tightly, grateful for each other's company. They knew that they were safe as long as they had each other. The next morning, Max and Lucy woke up to the sound of birds singing. They had breakfast and packed up their campsite, ready for a new adventure. As they walked through the forest, they saw all kinds of things, a rabbit hopping through the grass, a snake slithering across their path, and even a family of raccoons playing in a tree. Max and Lucy continued on their adventure, never knowing what they would find next. They were happy just to be together, enjoying each other's company and the beauty of nature. At the end of their journey, Max and Lucy sat by a waterfall, watching the water cascade down the rocks. Lucy hugged Max tightly and whispered, "Thank you for protecting me, Max. You're the best friend I could ever ask for." Max wagged his tail happily, knowing that he had done his job. He licked Lucy's face, and she laughed, feeling the joy of being alive. Together, they sat by the waterfall, content to be together in this moment. And so, Max and Lucy continued on their adventures, exploring the world and discovering new wonders. They knew that they would always be together, no matter what challenges lay ahead. For they were the best of friends, and nothing could ever change that. As Max and Lucy sat by the waterfall, they saw a group of butterflies fluttering nearby. Lucy's eyes lit up with excitement. "Max, look at all those butterflies. Do you think we can catch one?" Max barked and wagged his tail in agreement. He loved to chase butterflies, and he knew that Lucy would have fun too. So they ran after the butterflies, laughing and playing in the sun. As they chased the butterflies, Max and Lucy stumbled upon a hidden cave. The entrance was covered in vines and rocks, and it looked like no one had ever been there before. Lucy's curiosity got the best of her, and she ran towards the cave. Max followed closely behind, his senses alert for any danger. Inside the cave, Max and Lucy found a hidden treasure trove. There were ancient artifacts, gold coins, and even a map that led to a secret location. Lucy's eyes widened with excitement as she realized that they had stumbled upon a treasure hunt. "Max, we have to follow this map. It could lead us to even more treasure," Lucy exclaimed. Max barked happily and wagged his tail. He was always up for an adventure, especially if it involved treasure. So they set off on the treasure hunt, following the map through winding paths and hidden trails. Along the way, Max and Lucy encountered all kinds of obstacles. They had to cross treacherous rivers, climb steep mountains, and even avoid dangerous animals. But they never gave up, always pushing forward towards the treasure. Finally, after days of travel, Max and Lucy arrived at the secret location. It was a hidden cave, deep in the heart of the forest. Inside the cave, they found a treasure chest filled with jewels, gold, and ancient artifacts. Lucy's eyes widened with amazement. "Max, we did it. We found the treasure." Max barked happily, his tail wagging with joy. He was proud of himself and Lucy for accomplishing such a great feat. Together, they basked in the glory of their victory, reveling in the treasure that lay before them. But their joy was short-lived. Suddenly, they heard a loud noise from outside the cave. It was the sound of someone approaching, and it sounded like they meant business. Max barked and growled, ready to defend Lucy and their treasure. As the noise got closer, Max and Lucy realized that it was a group of bandits. They were armed with swords and guns, and they looked dangerous. Max barked and snarled, showing the bandits that he was not afraid. Lucy stood behind him, clutching her backpack tightly. The bandits surrounded Max and Lucy, their eyes glinting with greed. "Give us the treasure, and we'll let you live," one of the bandits said. Max barked and lunged at the bandit, showing him that he would not back down. The bandits were surprised by Max's ferocity, and they hesitated for a moment. Lucy took advantage of the moment and ran towards the entrance of the cave. "Run, Max. We have to get out of here," Lucy shouted. Max barked and followed her, his heart pounding with adrenaline. They ran through the forest, the bandits hot on their trail. Max barked and growled, showing the bandits that he was not afraid to fight. Finally, after what seemed like hours of running, Max and Lucy arrived back at their campsite. They collapsed on the ground, panting and exhausted. But they were alive, and that was all that mattered. As they sat by the campfire, recovering from their ordeal, Max and Lucy realized that they had learned an important lesson. Treasure was not worth risking their lives for, and that their friendship and companionship was the true treasure. "Max, I'm so glad we made it out of there alive," Lucy said, tears of relief in her eyes. Max barked and nuzzled her, letting her know that he was happy to be by her side. He was grateful for the adventure, but he knew that he would never risk his life or Lucy's for treasure again. From that day on, Max and Lucy continued to explore the world around them, but they did so with caution and a newfound respect for the dangers that lurked in the unknown. They also made sure to appreciate the simple things in life, like a good meal, a comfortable bed, and each other's company. As they sat by the campfire, watching the stars twinkle in the sky, Max and Lucy knew that they had formed an unbreakable bond that would last a lifetime. They had been through so much together, and they had come out stronger for it. "Max, do you remember when we first met?" Lucy asked, her eyes full of nostalgia. Max barked and wagged his tail, his mind flashing back to the day when he had first met Lucy. He had been wandering the streets, looking for a home, when he had come across her. She had been sitting on a bench, crying, and he had immediately felt drawn to her. "I remember it like it was yesterday," Lucy said, a smile on her face. "I was so sad and alone, and then you came along and changed everything. You've been my best friend ever since." Max barked and licked her face, letting her know that he felt the same way. He was grateful to have found Lucy, and he knew that he would never let anything happen to her. As they settled in for the night, Max and Lucy fell asleep under the stars, dreaming of the adventures that lay ahead. They knew that there would be more challenges and dangers to face, but they also knew that they could face anything together. For Max and Lucy, the true treasure was their friendship and the bond that they had formed. And that was something that no amount of gold or jewels could ever replace. Over the years, Max and Lucy continued to explore the world, taking on many more adventures and experiencing a lifetime of memories together. They never forgot the lessons they had learned on that fateful journey to find treasure, and they made sure to always value their lives and each other above all else. As they grew old, Max slowed down, and his body became weaker. He could no longer run as fast or jump as high as he once could, but Lucy never left his side. She was always there to comfort him, to give him hugs, and to make sure that he was happy. One day, Max closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep for the final time. Lucy was devastated, but she knew that Max had lived a long and fulfilling life. She also knew that he would always be with her, in her heart and in her memories. As she sat by his side, tears streaming down her face, Lucy thought back on all the adventures they had shared, and she knew that their bond was unbreakable. She would never forget the lessons they had learned and the love they had shared. Max may have been just a dog, but to Lucy, he was so much more. He was her faithful companion, her protector, and her best friend. He had changed her life in so many ways, and she was forever grateful for the time they had shared. In the end, Lucy realized that the true treasure in life was not gold or jewels, but the love and friendship of those closest to us. And she knew that she had been lucky to have had Max by her side, sharing in all of life's adventures with her. With a heavy heart, Lucy said her final goodbye to Max, but she knew that he would always be with her, watching over her and guiding her on her future adventures. She would never forget the lessons they had learned, the memories they had shared, and the love they had for each other. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose and determination, Lucy set out to continue exploring the world, knowing that Max would always be by her side, in spirit and in memory.